Hey, Arcturus here. Today we're looking at the Champions of Slaanesh for Warhammer 40,000. This is the release box for the new Emperor's Children faction for Warhammer 40,000. This set comes with 33 miniatures, including a Lord Exultant, which is your generic lord, 10 Tormentors, 10 Infractors, and 12 Noise Marines. And I believe the Tormentors and Infractors are actually the same kit, but I don't know that for sure. I think they're a separate build, so we'll find out in a second. It's a very nice box from Games Workshop for it. It's quite a heavy box, probably because it comes with the codex as well. I believe it also comes with data cards. Those aren't normally something I get. So on the inside, you get this nice smaller box with this artwork here, and then just the Slaanesh and some more generic artwork there. This did sell out rather quickly. I'm happy I was able to pick it up. The local store, when I went to pick it up today, the local Games Workshop still had one in stock, so it might be worth checking your local Games Workshop if they have any left. That will of course depend on how popular this army is locally. So no guarantees there, but I hope if you wanted to get this, you were able to. Let me know down below if you're planning to start an Emperor's Children army. And let's take a look at some of the sprue. Those are going to be Noise Marines. Those are also Noise Marines. That should be 2 more of those. There we go. And because the Noise Marines are doubled up, I'll only show 1 set of the sprue, but I will show enough for all of the miniatures that come with it. You, of course, also get bases, which I'm not going to pull out here. You do not get a nice artwork print of that inner box, unfortunately. Sometimes they do that for the little inset to separate the sprue from the books. You also get this very nice, see if I can get that to focus, a very nice transfer sheet for the Emperor's Children. So lots of Slaanesh symbols, some of the Emperor's Children symbols. You also get this nice bundle, which should have the codex and some cards, and hopefully the instructions. And this one actually opens up this way, and it does have this nice strap, which is interesting. This is a step up from the last one of these I had that a similar type box. That was just, I believe, sliding. The instructions are this sort of smaller booklet, and you do get essentially 2 sets of each sprue. So you can build the Lord Exultant with both a spear or a sword. And then you can build, yes, the Tormentors and Infractors are actually the same kit, just different weapon options. Looks like the Tormentors are the ranged version, and the Infractors are the more melee version with pistols instead of probably bolt guns. And then, of course, you get the Noise Marines as well. So it looks like the Noise Marines are really similar to the Berserkers for Khorne, where you get a lot of overlap or options, where you get a lot of options for the shoulder pads, where you can interchange basically all the backpacks. Probably interchange how complicated the guns are, maybe. It is nice that these cords don't look to wrap around the whole miniature like the chains did on the Khorne Berserkers. That was rather annoying. So it looks like the torsos will all be the same, and you do get 2 sets of these in the set. So you do get 12 of them, but it is just going to show 6 here. And you can build a couple different variants. You can build a captain or champion, in this case called the Disharmonist, but it's basically the champion, with either the larger gun or a pistol and melee weapon. And then you can build a sort of longer gun versus the shorter gun. I'm sure those have, well, in a different edition, I'd say they probably have different profiles, but I guess in this one they don't. On this set of instructions, they do not have the abbreviated rules for the unit. And then you also get cards for the entire army, not just what comes in the box, that come in this nice case with some Slaanesh stuff on it, or Emperor's Children Slaanesh stuff on it. And then you do get the very nice codex, which we'll look at after we look at the sprue, with this more unique design. I think they actually have 4 cover variants for this codex, if I understand correctly. You have the Launchbox Codex, which I have here. You'll have the Standard Codex, which will come out later, and then you'll have the Collector's Edition that comes with some sort of coin that if you collect all 4 of the Chaos God aspected factions codexes of that type, you can turn into one big coin, one big medallion. I think it's a triangle piece that comes with each one. And then they may have a 4th special edition codex, but there's at least 3 versions of this cover. So if you are a collector, that's there for you. If you are not, and you got this box, well, you have your codex. And if you weren't able to get this box, or are getting into the faction after this box has been out, after the faction's been available for a while, there's your standard codex as well. So we'll start off by taking a look at the sprue for the Lord. There we go. So just a standard small rectangular sprue with some nice details, and the small variants looks like it's just the hand variant, and then the rest of it is all going to be used, so very few extra parts I think on this one. And then you have the block of standard troops. We will look at one because all the sprue are the same, actually. Just kind of show you here and here, and then the other 2 are the exact same. So you get basically pretty standard way for Marines, where you sort of have the half torso, the back of the torso, and then the extra leg sort of thing, and then the backpack, shoulder pads, weapons. Looks like bolt pistols, and then you do have some like larger, like the Melta here, or a 2-handed bolter here. So there are some options there, and that of course does build 2 different units, although the main difference between them is the weapon they have as opposed to the pose they'll have. So here's 2 of the 3 sprue for the Terminators. So much heavier looking units, of course. The guns will have to be partially assembled, so they'll have the face sections that'll have to go in each of the guns. There are 6 units in each of these squads, and they do have a 3rd piece of the sprue. So I'll go ahead and set that down. Look at this one. And so here's that 3rd sprue, several guns. Does look like you have 2 different types. I don't know if you can build, 3 and 3 or 6 and 6. I also don't know if they have any differences. And so that's the models for the set. So let's take a quick peek inside the codex. So you do get this very nice cover I showed earlier, with some nice detailing here near the spine, and the usual screaming faces on the inside. And then so you get some background lore, some showcase pictures, and then the combat patrol details, and then some crusade rules, and of course the forces of the Emperor's Children, which is what we will look at. But let's actually first take a quick look at some pictures. Just a few of them, of course. So looks like they have 2 generic named lords, the Lord Exultant and the Lord Cacophonist. Yep. And then of course you have Fulgrim, Slaanesh demons, and then some various armor schemes. The pages are slightly glossed, so the glare on this is a little difficult to deal with, but there we go. So you have Noise Marines, their leader, the Disharmonist, and then you have a few different choices for chapters of the Emperor's Children, I guess. Okay, so Combat Patrol will be a named Lord Exultant, a set of 10 Infractors, and then 2 of the Flawless Blades, which I assume is another unit. So let's actually go check that out. You, of course, get the detachments. I'm sure there are reviews of those already available as well from people who've got the pre-ordered copies or the advanced copies. So it looks like you can have Fulgrim, Lucius the Eternal. You can, of course, take a Sorcerer and a few different Demon Princes of Slaanesh, one with wings, one without wings. And it looks like those are 2 different units, so you could have, theoretically, 3 of each. Flawless Blades. It will click a Close Combat Terminator style option. Tormentors and Infractors. Main difference, I guess, is ability. Both can take Icon of Excess. The Tormentors let you keep... Yep, Tormentors provide the sticky objectives. The Infractors get a reroll to wound of 1s, and if you're within range of objective marker, you can just flat reroll the wound roll. That seems to be the main difference. The Infractors have the bolt pistol and plasma pistol, while the Tormentors also get bolt gun, melta-gun, and plasma gun. And then the melee weapons actually seem to be the same. They do, of course, get the Chaos Terminators. They, of course, get a Chaos Land Raider. And then, of course, there are the Noise Marines, which is what I was looking for. So this unit also gets, after it is shot, select one enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next shooting phase, each time they take a battle shock test, they subtract 1 from that test. It looks like they have a varied weapon for their main gun, which is single or varied frequency. The difference is, so single frequency seems to be fewer attacks and more damage with greater strength, and the varied frequency seems to be more the anti-infantry because it's 6 attacks versus 3. Lower strength, but 1 damage each. So that could be interesting. There's, of course, a Screamer pistol and a Sonic Blaster. And so for the unit itself, each model comes with a Sonic Blaster, which ignores cover. All their ranged weapons ignore cover. And you can swap the Disharmonist Sonic Blaster for a Screamer pistol and Power Sword, and you can replace 2 Marines, can each replace their Sonic Blaster with 1 Blastmaster. And it is 6 models to a unit. There is not a variable unit size on those. They, of course, get the standard tanks as well. And there was some question beforehand, but they do have some of the Keeper of Secrets and the Demonettes of Slaanesh. So it looks like all those demons are getting rolled into the army itself. And of course, there are some points values. So if you did pick this up, you can, of course, play. But those will probably be changed rather quickly. They often always are. Well, that's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you next week with another video.